这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的听力水平在生活中是完全够用的。要持续提升英文，记得点击订阅按钮。我们开始吧。
If someone tells you a pajama party is just kids in soft clothes, they are missing the real story. The phrase a pajama party carries a quiet history that moves slowly across land and time, shaped by travel, comfort, fear, and the human need to feel safe with others after the lights go out. It did not begin as a game. It did not begin as a party. It began as a way to survive the night. Long before the word reached English ears, people in South Asia wore loose pants tied at the waist with a simple cord. These pants were wide, light, and easy to move in. The name came from old sounds that meant lead clothing. They were worn by people who worked long hours, who slept where they stopped, and who needed their bodies to rest without pain. Tight clothes were a problem. Heavy clothes trapped heat. These loose pants solved both. At night, when the air cooled and the body slowed, these pants made sleep easier. Sleep was not treated as a soft luxury. It was protection. It was the moment when the body repaired itself before another hard day. These clothes became part of that quiet system of care. When British traders and soldiers arrived in the region, they noticed something simple. Local people slept better. They moved better at night. Their clothing allowed rest. Slowly, the outsiders copied the style. At first, they wore the pants inside, away from public eyes. Over time, the habit followed them back to Europe. The word changed as it traveled. Sounds were bent to fit new tongues. Pajama became pajama, then pajama. The meaning also shifted. In colder places, the pants were paired with soft tops. The full set became night clothing. What began as daily wear became sleep wear. For a long time, pajamas were private. They were not meant to be seen by guests. Wearing them around others meant trust. Night clothes showed the body at rest, not dressed for work or public life. To be seen in pajamas meant you were at home, or you were with people who would not judge you. This idea stayed strong for many years. Families shared small homes. Children shared beds. Privacy was rare. The night was quiet, but it was not social. The first change came when homes grew larger and safer. Doors locked. Windows closed tight. Streets became calmer. Children began to sleep alone in their own rooms. This created a new feeling. The night became a personal space. With this change, staying the night somewhere else slowly became normal. A child could leave home and still feel safe. Parents allowed it because they trusted the house, the family, and the space. In the late 1800s, pictures began to appear in books and magazines. Children were shown smiling in clean bedrooms, wearing matching sleep clothes. These images carried a message. Sleep was no longer only about rest. It was about comfort, care, and happiness. This was the quiet build toward something new. The real shift happened when children began to gather at night. Friends stayed over. The lights stayed on longer. Voices dropped low. The dark no longer meant silence. It meant connection. Pajamas became the shared skin of these nights. When everyone wore soft clothes, no one stood out. The day roles fell away. School ranks, family money, and daily rules lost power. In the night, wrapped in cotton, everyone felt closer. This was the first true emotional rise. The night stopped being lonely. It became full. Stories were told. Some were funny. Some were half true. Some were meant to scare just enough to make hearts race. When a sound came from the hallway, everyone froze. When nothing happened, laughter rushed back in. Fear and joy lived close together. Someone always missed home. Someone always felt brave enough to stay anyway. Tears might fall, but they never lasted long. A hand reached out. A shoulder leaned in. By morning, the fear felt far away. That night created memory. Not the kind you think about every day, but the kind that shapes how safe you feel with people later in life. This was the second rise. Emotion peaked, then settled into trust. By the middle of the 1900s, the phrase pajama party appeared in common language. It was used in stories, movies, and simple ads. The meaning was clear without explanation. A pajama party was a night where rules softened. It was not about sleep, even though sleep happened. It was about staying awake together longer than usual. It was about sharing thoughts that felt too small or too strange during the day. In films and books, the pajama party often marked a moment of change. A child stood on the edge of growing up. They were allowed to stay up late. They were allowed to speak freely. They tested their voice in the dark. These nights often held small conflict. Someone said something unkind. Someone felt left out. Someone laughed at the wrong moment. Feelings rose quickly in the night. But just as quickly, they healed. The dark made emotions honest. But the shared space made repair easy. As years passed, the idea moved beyond children. Teenagers stayed up talking about the future. College friends gathered on weekends, sitting on the floor in soft clothes, sharing fears they hid during the week. Adults used the idea quietly, without the name. Comfortable clothes. Late talk. No pressure to perform. The meaning stayed close to its root. A pajama party meant lowering the guard. It meant saying, "For this night, I am not working. I am not proving anything. I am here. The phrase sounds playful, but it touches something deep. Humans fear the night. Darkness removes control. Being alone after the lights go out can make thoughts grow heavy. A pajama party answers that fear in a simple way. You are not alone. Now the phrase is common. It can sound small, but it carries the weight of many quiet nights across history. Nights where people learn that comfort is not weakness. It is survival. When you hear the words "a pajama party," you may think of childhood laughter. Or you may think of a rare adult night when you sat with someone and spoke honestly, without armor. That feeling is the real meaning. Life grows busy. Schedules tighten. Nights shrink. We forget how powerful it is to simply sit together, dressed for rest, and let time slow down. But the need does not disappear. The need to be seen without effort. The need to speak without fear. The need to know that when the world goes quiet, someone is still there. That is why the story of a pajama party matters. It reminds you that rest can be shared. That comfort can be social. And that somewhere inside you, no matter your age, there is still a part waiting for that soft night when nothing is required of you except to be present.
能以非母语者的身份专注学习到现在，这本身就是很棒的进步。真诚感谢你的观看。如果你觉得本期内容实用，点赞或留言让我知道你的想法，这对我持续创作非常重要。我们下期见。